Toby Foster at breakfast. BBC Radio Sheffield.
That's what we're talking about now, because yesterday Ed Miliband, who's a Doncaster MP and also leader of the Labour Party. Leader of the Labour Party again. Leader of the Labour Party. Can't say it. He had a speech yesterday where he was talking about the bleak future for our young people in terms of rising debt and fewer jobs. And he reckons that today's kids will be at least 40 before they can get on the property ladder. So it got us thinking, does it really matter in this day and age if you own a house or not? Is it just a cultural thing here, where it's seen as the done thing? Are you really out of pocket if you carry on renting for your whole life? And why are so many of us averse to the idea of not owning our own house? Jen's been asking the people of Sheffield.
Does it matter if you own your own home or not? Well, if you rent a house, you just throw money away because you're not building yourself an asset.
Do you own your own home?
I pass-owned it with the bank, yeah. You pay a mortgage for 25 years, then you don't have to pay it anymore. And so later life, when your pension might not give you as much money as you'd hope it would, you don't have to pay money on rent. And you could sell it at the end if you wanted to and downsize, yeah.
You can make a council house just as nice as your own home, really. It's just whatever you can afford in life, I suppose, love, yeah.
Do you own your own home?
Yep.
And why did you want to buy it then?
We were in a council property, but there wasn't the room and we wanted a garden for the children. But that was many years ago when things were much easier. It's a lot more difficult now for the couples.
I think it's important basically to own your own home. If you're paying rent on a monthly basis, basically it's just stead money. You know, you might as well invest in property and then at least you've got an asset that you own. Yeah, I've sort of had my own house since I was 20, so and just gradually moved and obviously moved up the property ladder so that, you know, I've got quite a nice property now.
I've owned my own house and I now rent it, so it's just the way things work out in your private life, really. I mean, most people, if they've got the money, they'll buy the house, and if they haven't, they'll rent. And that's about it, you know, that's life.
Now that ain't working, that's the way you do it.
At the moment, we're thinking, shall we go for council housing and downsize? I mean, our kids keep saying, you know, maybe you should sell the house and have the money and enjoy it, because we've just retired, so...
Future I'd like to, but I'd say that they're pretty expensive, aren't they? So I wouldn't have thought we'll be able to buy one properly for a long time, especially after student debt. It's just like your own home. It's like no one can take it off you kind of thing then, just like you can do what you want with it.
Well, listening to that is Jonathan Davis, who's a property expert for Jonathan Davis Wealth Management. He says that buying a house is not necessarily a wise investment at the moment. Good morning, Jonathan.
Good morning, Toby.
Why is he not wise?
Financially, I can't talk about lifestyle issue, but financially it's been imprudent to take out a vast debt and buy into housing in the last 5 years because prices for years have been beyond reality. And as far as I'm concerned, they will continue. They've been falling for the last few years, and they will continue falling, prices-wise, for the next few years because of the state of the economy and our general finances.
So what should you do with your wealth management head on? What should you do as opposed to buying? Just rent and then save?
Well, yes. To buy property just now, as far as I'm concerned, would be just to throw money down the drain. I heard on your piece there a number of myths that are believed in society. And incidentally, I want to congratulate your team for playing money for nothing, because it's a beautiful subliminal subtext there that buying property has been money for nothing. And it's true. It has been from the early 90s until the late 2000s. But everything that created the virtuous spiral in property prices has now reversed. It's now a vicious spiral downwards. If you buy property just now, I'm telling you, I believe that we are in a long-term downtrend for prices. According to the Halifax, prices have not risen in any of the last 3 years. And indeed, we're into the fourth year when prices are still falling. So yes, rent and save. And just in the final point, those people who believe that buying a property with an interest-only mortgage is buying the property don't know what they're talking about, because interest only is exactly the same as renting.
But of course, if you just rent, your money's gone, isn't it? It's dead.
What's this just rent? You know, that's such a derogatory term. It's not just rent. It's actually sensible to rent. It's only money down the drain if house prices are on a medium to long-term trend up.
No, it's not because if you buy...
Hold on, Toby. It's money in the bank if prices are flat or falling.
No, it's not, because if you're buying, after 25 years, it's yours. You then stop paying. That never happens with rent.
Yeah, okay. And it's an important point. I'm certainly not talking here about renting for 25 years. I'm talking about renting while prices are in a downtrend. Then at some point, it will be indeed appropriate to buy. In the meanwhile, keep on renting, keep on saving, and stop giving money to bankers. Believe me, I can tell you, I'm a wealth manager. I come across people all the time, and I know the stats. There are literally hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of folk in the UK who are working for the bank, the taxman, and then themselves in that order. People need to get out of this situation where they're doing that. They need to be working for themselves first.
Well, also on the line is Mike Blundell from Blundell's in Sheffield. I suppose, as he owns an estate agent, Mike might sound that now is a good time to buy. Let's see. Morning, Mike.
Morning, Toby.
Should we be buying houses, Mike Blundell from Blundell's estate agents?
I will certainly buy a house. I've always bought a property because, as it says, over the 25 years or your lifetime, you never lose. But you do lose on investments as well, as I can vouch for.
I can see that over 25 years, definitely. The interesting point, of course, is what happens today to the first-time buyers. What do they do?
I understand that. And it obviously is, at the rock bottom in the market at the moment. Now, yes, we don't expect the prices to increase in the next couple of years, but, this is a lifetime situation where, you own your property. It's your castle. It's the thing that everybody values and loves. And it's your own. You're not throwing money away on renting. And look at the market. Yes, it is down at the moment. It has been for the last 4 or 5 years. We've gone back to 2006 prices. There's nothing we can do about it. It's life. It's the whole world. We're in a recession. But we're coming out of it. There are some green shoots. The market will go up eventually. We're not talking short term, 1 or 2 years. But if you buy now, then the market will go up. As we all say, it's the best time to buy now, and it's the best time to sell. If you've got one, you want to buy another one, get it bought now. There's a pent demand out there, and people who have got money will do it.
That's the crucial bit, isn't it? You've got to have money. Nobody's chucking 95% mortgages at people these days, are they?
Well, there is one building society who are doing 95% mortgages, but you've got to go through a lot of hoops to get to it, so you've got to be a good purchaser with a good deposit. But, and obviously a good job and obviously a good income. But, over that period, you're going to, over the next 5-10 years, you're going to earn some money.
Jonathan?
What else would you do with your money at the moment? Put it in investment? I don't think so at the moment. It's so volatile. You cannot beat property.
Jonathan, Mike has a point, doesn't he? Why not put it into property now? Because where else are you going to get a return?
No, he doesn't have a point, because the assumption in that point is that house prices will rise. He actually said himself that he's not expecting house prices to rise. And in fact, I would say to you, and I would say to all estate agents and anyone who's looking to buy right now, interest rates have reached the bottom in 400 years. There's only one direction they can go over the next few years, and that's up. Unemployment is at best flat, I'm afraid to say, and it's probably rising. Public sector cuts are here. Lending is practically non-existent because the banks are technically insolvent. I read that one of the rating agencies is going to be downgrading 14 of our banks and building societies today. So, house prices are falling today. They've been falling since last summer. In fact, they've been falling since 2007, but they had a minor blip up. In most of the country, including in Yorkshire. House prices have been falling consistently since 2007. I believe they will continue falling for the next couple of years. Maybe a reasonable buy point when people can take on a lower debt and can use a lower deposit to buy a nicer home. Maybe a good buy point will be in 2 years' time. And that's therefore people should wait just now while prices are falling. You're just throwing money, good money after bad, to buy property today.
Mike, what happens with the interest rates go? Because at the minute, if you've got a mortgage, you've never paid as little for it. Another 2 or 3% on that, we could be in right trouble, couldn't we?
That's right, Toby. I mean, to be fair, the mortgage rate could not be any cheaper. And, obviously that's why people should take advantage of it now. Yes, if you get a fixed rate for, say, 3-5 years, then the point is that, you're fixed for 3-5 years, whatever you can get. You might pay a little bit more than the market rate at the moment. There's nothing wrong with that, because if your house does go up in 2 years' time, and then, if you've got a fixed rate for, say, 3 or 5 years, you're actually doing very well.
Mike Blundell and Jonathan Davis, thanks for joining us this morning.